Welcome in, race fans. Do we have an awesome Ninja Gaiden showcase for you all this evening? Today's matchup features 3 runners in a race unlike any you may have seen before. We have smashed 3 categories, any percent, low percent, and pacifist, into a single run that we are calling the Triple Crown Race. And for our event this evening, we have Edo87, who comes in with quite a bit of race experience and an any percent time of 11:55. He also has a low percent time of 12:35. Edo was the first person to ever achieve a sub 14 minute time in the pacifist category, and he is currently the only person to have ever beaten Ninja Gaiden blindfolded. betaXcomplainer steps into the ring tonight with an any percent time of 12:07 and a low percent time of 13:21. Beta has the 4th fastest pacifist time ever recorded. Knucklebuster is our 3rd competitor for this Triple Crown race with an any percent time of 11:42. He is the current low percent world record holder with a time of 12:15, and he recently claimed the pacifist world record from Edo with a time of 13:53. Here KB demonstrates why pacifist is the best category. So we've saved the best for last. With these runners in these categories, it's anyone's game. Good luck.
Hello everyone and welcome to Ninja Fight Night 3, the Triple Crown between 3 racers. Yes, there's a lot of 3s in tonight's event, including the 3 raids that we just got tonight from Black Squall, the Retro Runner, and Gus. I want to take a moment to thank you for those raids. I hope you guys are hype. I'm your commentator, Pensive Moose, and in the booth with me is my co-commentator, Razul. Razul, how excited are you for this Triple Crown race?
Well, I mean, 3 times the excitement. We got 3 competitors, we got 3 categories, and we're going to have an amazing challenge for these runners. And I'm just appreciative for these runners to step up to this challenge and put on a showcase of these amazing categories. And kind of a wonderful night of Ninja Gaiden racing. I'm definitely excited. How you feeling, Moose?
I'm feeling good. I'm looking forward to commentating this because I do feel like it's a pretty special event, one that I don't think anyone's ever really done this before. I mean, I've been around for about 2 years now. I've definitely never seen it. So it's definitely a special idea, definitely some talented runners here. So I think it's going to be good. I have to say, I'm not as experienced with pacifist or even low percent, but I'm looking forward to seeing a race, especially for pacifist, because I definitely haven't seen that before. So I'm looking to learn something tonight, to be honest. I've done low percent, but pacifist I am not as privy to, although I do, randomly see the clips in the Discord of the new strats. So it does look like some fun, but yeah, a little inexperienced, but I know you can cover for me, Raz.
Well, the thing is, the pacifist category has seen probably the most new strats of any of the categories. And in a race scenario, in any percent, they will be allowed to grab the health, and there is some potential health, and the only way they can actually refill their health in a low percent run or a pacifist run would be to take an intentional death, and that actually presents even more of a challenge because you are going to want to preserve some HP for the demon fight if you do end up having to revisit the demon or revisit the final bosses, because you can't guarantee on the health grab like you can in the any percent route. So kind of like we saw in the pacifist showcase, it'll be interesting to see how these runners approach the pacifist race scenario, and we will be seeing a lot of creative strats, a lot of boosting, and the order of the race will be any percent first, then a low percent run, and then a pacifist run, and they're going to be resetting on all zeros after the demon kill and then starting the next run as quickly as they can. So in good speedrunning fashion, trying to finish 3 categories of a very difficult game in as quick a time as possible. So we do have everybody ready in the race room. So tonight we featured Knucklebuster, and as we know, KB brings a lot of race experience from NRL, a lot of experience in these 3 categories. For those that don't know, Edo87, very, very talented runner. very fast learner of games and has a lot of Ninja Gaiden experience, is returned to the game this evening for this showcase. And then betaXcomplainer steps into the ring tonight, right from behind the scenes to into the action. So really, really looking forward to seeing what Beta can do tonight, because Beta has some, a wealth of experience with these three categories as well. So this should be an exciting time. This is going to be a challenging run, Moose, like almost probably one we've never seen before. So this is a first here for the Ninja Gaiden community and for us here on Fight Night.
Yeah, for sure. I think this is going to be the most hype event of the Fight Night so far, just because of such a new idea, the Triple Crowns. I'm looking forward to it. And that was a great breakdown of the racers for sure. KB and Edo, I think people know a lot more about them, but I don't want to underrate betaX at all. I respect betaX so much for the grind he's put into this game. Outside of Retro Runner, I swear no one plays as much as him. He just goes, and he's had some rough moments running in these categories, but he has a lot of resolve, and I totally respect him for it. And I also thank him and just respect him for putting on these events as well and doing all the work, because it really gives the community something to look forward to. And so I think that's really fun, and I'm glad he's able to actually be a part of a race this time around. So it's going to be good. I think it's interesting that Pacifist is going to be the third run of the three, because I'm willing to bet that Pacifist is actually the most difficult, because there's just so much that can go wrong pretty quickly. And so it'll be interesting to see how much fatigue might play into the race, because I know personally, once I do one any percent run during a race, like I'm not looking to play again right after, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah, I actually should give a little bit of perspective. This is a much longer run. I would anticipate the total time to be somewhere between maybe 43 minutes and possibly longer, somewhere under the 1 hour mark, I think is what the runners are somewhat looking for. It will be interesting because Pacifist is the most difficult of the three categories, certainly the most technical and the most difficult to manage your health and the number of lives that you're going to have. So you might see some intentional deaths, some intentional game overs. And Moose, you also know with your race experience that, even if you come in with a really strong PB, you could be the world record holder in any one of these categories, but it's anybody's game tonight, because in a race scenario, given the difficulty of the low percent run and the pacifist run and even the any percent run, and that's not even considering that these runners are going to be going against the Demon and Jack Yao 3 times. So that's 3 potential times in this run for each runner, where they may, and we don't want it to happen, but it could happen, they could end up back in 6-1. So we'll see if that ends up playing into the scenarios here tonight. And it does look like we are ready. So if you're ready, Moose, I think we can get them going in the race room and get this action started.
Oh, I'm absolutely ready. I'm ready to be here for just under an hour. I'm prepped for whatever may happen. I think the third person, whoever's last and third, I think may prefer to actually finish the race if they're willing to commit that much time. And I'm totally fine with that. I'm ready to commentate this. And yeah, let's definitely get it going in the race room if we're ready.
All right, so we are ready here in the race room. So we're going to give the racers the final countdown here, and then we should have about 60 to 90 seconds just to make sure that our racers are ready. And then you'll see our runners reset, and then we will be off. And actually, when we come back here, you'll see the any percent route, they will still probably choose some different strats, because whenever you do PB attempts, you will see sometimes some variation. Like you can see Knucklebuster right now kind of working out what strats he might use for the pacifist route, and everybody's going to have to be considerate of the cliff scenario. What safeties might they use? And what strats will they really push? I did get a small tip from somebody that betaX was going to try to push some swaggy strats tonight. So we'll see how Knucklebuster and Edo's experience plays into this as well.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of funny how the further you go in this run, the more potential there is for variation in the route, because Any percent, I mean, a lot of the strats are just very commonplace and like everyone does them. Low percent, there's some variation in strats for sure, but then pacifist, I think it has to take the crown in terms of strat variation because there's just so many options. You could go with something a lot simpler, something a lot more difficult. I don't know, I haven't done pacifist, but I know enough to know that it's just there's so many options, so many things you can do. And so, in terms of swag, I mean, Pacifist does have so much of that because of how creative you can get. And so, I'm looking forward to seeing that. I expect KB at least to also be choosing some swag strats like Beta X because, well, KB was going for Eggs Vinny in RL, so he's not really scared to. He's not really scared. You know, he's not going to back down if he knows he's confident with something. And so that'll be interesting to see.
All right, we've given him a 30-second warning, so we should be starting here momentarily. Thanks, everybody, for being here. This is a fantastic moment for the Ninja Gaiden community. We hope everybody enjoys this race and a great showcase of what's been going on in the Ninja Gaiden community in 3 amazing categories. Be interesting to see if anybody goes for that center platform kill there, Moose.
Yeah, I think I'm willing to bet that Edo will. Yeah, I think Edo kind of prefers to go for that kill nowadays. I don't think he commits for a plate kill because he has a pretty simple intentional hit strat where you go for the center platform, take an intentional hit, and actually go for a 2.5 cycle. That's a bit easier for him, and so I expect Edo too. I don't think KB or Beta X will. Unless KB's been working on a center plat all this time that no one knows about, but I don't think so. And that's totally fine. It's really not necessary. Just like with any race, especially for a longer race, even like what's really going to matter is minimizing the small mistakes. And so you have KB has a chance to really take a decent lead starting off with any percent because he has so much experience with that and he's so consistent at it. And so we'll see if he's able to garner quite a big lead in the first leg of this race, which is any percent.
All right, it looks like we are started here. Beta has started his any percent run. A little hung up on some of the first couple of things. Edo has started, and remember there might be a little bit of delay between the start times here, but you do see the runner splits on screen, so you'll be able to keep track of where they are in the any percent run, and then the low percent run, and then finally pacifist.
I think it looks like the KB forgot to start his splits, which is kind of funny, but I think in the end things will start to even out a bit because it is a longer race with it being this long, even though there is a delay. Hopefully it'll even out a bit. And KB missing the Mike Tyson boost and just able to get that back up there. That was quite impressive. Did you see that, Raz?
Yeah, he used a little backwards jump there. Usually not a preferred strategy, but it can come in handy in just a couple of different spots. KB kind of showing off how you can use that game's tendency to make your run a little bit slower against the game when you miss the boost. Very interesting there.
Yeah, that was interesting. I honestly totally forgot that was a thing. If that was me in a race, I would have lost a lot more time. That just shows KB's knowledge of the game. Running so many categories as he does, I mean, you just pick up so many things along the way, so it's not surprising that he would have something like that in his back pocket.
Well, and it looks like, what happened to KB there is it looks like his splits might have just had a little bit of input delay. Right? They are running now. And we do have an accurate time for KB in the race room, so we will know what time he finishes because we're just using one race room, one timer. So when the runners finish in the race room, that'll be their official time. And should it go to, anything beyond that, which is unlikely, we could look at splits and should any frame counting be necessary. But again, I want to emphasize that this is just really casual. The Triple Crown is on the line. And it's kind of cool about Fight Night is who holds the belt for the time. Moose actually has the belt right now for any percent. Moose had a nice run against Lane Rainer. Very, very close race in, what was that, Fight Night number 1 or was that 2, Moose?
That was 2, so that would have been the very last race that we ever saw actually, because it was the last race of Fight Night 2. So yeah, I do have the belt. I will be passing it on to someone here at the end of this any percent race, I suppose, which is totally fine by me.
All right, so
Oh,
Knucklebuster said,
KB almost getting, man, he had to dodge a troll hammer there. That could have ended the run, or that could have killed him so fast, but he reacted just in time. That was really impressive.
yeah, we see betaX kind of making his way through the first part of 3-1. And it looks like he went ahead and made the shuriken throw. Always a little bit of a nervous spot there for races.
Oh yeah, no kidding. Because if you miss that, it's a big time loss. I don't know. I haven't seen that. I've watched a decent amount of races in my time, and I have not seen that many people miss the star throw, which is good. So, but in theory, it could be a huge time loss. So,
Yeah, Edo taking some knockbacks there. KB also working his way through the first part of 3-1. Looking at the shuriken throw. And KB choosing to use the flame strat, right, in any percent. And, don't get used to it, because once this any percent run is over, there will be no Art of the Fire Wheel. There will be no spin slash. From that point forward, it'll be sword only, and then we're going to take the sword away, and they're going to have to finish the game one more time with nothing but Ryu and no sword.
yeah, I have to apologize. I have a feeling that we missed a death from Edo somewhere in Act 2, because on screen, Edo and KB are now even, but I know that was not the case at all when they first started. You can even tell from their timers that there's a big time difference, even though they are at the same spot in the run. So I think Edo, in terms of time, is certainly behind KB right now. I'm not sure about betaX. I've seen some holdups from betaX, but I haven't seen anything extremely slow. I don't think he's even taken a death, if I had to guess, based on his timer right now. So betaX is holding a decent pace. I imagine KB is probably going to be ahead of him just because his run's been a little cleaner. But I think as long as betaX doesn't die, he could be really happy with every time he gets here.
And it looks like both Edo and KB missing the standard kill, but getting a decent version of a backup. And as far as I know, Beta did have just a little bit of issue in Act 1, but I think since then has been relatively clean in the any percent category.
I think KB, unless I missed it, or unless I missaw, almost got hit by another troll hammer at the beginning of 4-1. He's just narrowly missing those hammers. Going for that bat boost in 4-1, which can get you killed if you get really unlucky, but he made it all right.
All right, KB's climbing here. Looks like he made it through without taking a knockback from the gunner there as he makes his way into a good stage with some pretty good jams.
Yeah, so Edo going for the swag star strat here, showing off some swag in the any percent run. This is supposed to be the most basic run, but actually there are some swag strats. And there he goes, throwing another star. Look at that thing go.
Yeah, shoutouts to Crossagrim for helping develop this strat. Edo does tend to bring this strat into the race scenario. You love to see
Very
it.
nice. Look at that. Thank God for this extra spin slash here, right? Because it actually allows you to do that without losing any time. So I did notice that when they hit the end of 4-2, that KB was a whole minute and some change ahead of Edo here. So I'm thinking KB is definitely going to have a solid lead over Edo. Maybe not as solid over betaX. I'm not sure. We'll have to pay attention to the split time at the end of Act 4.
Yeah, and actually, it does look it's interesting when you use the swag strat or the swag star strat through 4, because you can't pick up the backup spin slash. But after that, there is no spin slash in Act 4 beyond the point in Act 4-2 where you can pick it up as the backup. As we see KB getting the boost, making the dog door.
So betaX had a 6:30 split at the end of Act 4, so we'll see what KB has here. KB is going to be nearly a minute ahead of betaX. About 58 seconds ahead. So I think KB has a sizable lead here ahead of both of them, actually. They're both alive. They're all 5-1, so we know how good Act 5 is going to be. We're going to have to really start paying attention to seeing if there's any deaths, because I don't want to miss a death if it happens again. The betaX opting to miss the boost here because he kind of messed it up and just climbing up the wall. I imagine he's playing a little nervous at this point just because Act 5 can be so scary.
I do get a sense, though, that Beta is in the lead right now. Even though we know his stream started and there's a little bit of stream delay on Edo and Knucklebuster compared to Beta, I think that his run has still been just a little bit cleaner than Knucklebuster's to this point, as we see Knucklebuster heading into 5-2.
Yeah, someone's mentioning in the chat that KB's timer might not include his Act 1. He might have started it really late. I'm honestly not 100% sure what happened. So his Act 1 time, or his timer might not be accurate at all, which I wouldn't be surprised by, because the 58-second lead over betaX seems like a bit excessive. Doesn't seem very accurate. betaX missing the Janet boost, but unfortunately not dying, just taking a backward boost there.
Yeah, we do know KB's timer is about 50 seconds off, and it started about 50 seconds late, about the time of that first section, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't aware of that. Thank you, chat. Thanks for the backup there. KB spawning 2 birds there, but able to get Janet boost anyway. That was a little bit scary, but he managed to get the boost, which is impressive, actually.
Yeah, Edo follows into 5-3. Pretty close so far in this any percent race. Even though Edo may have taken that death, you still have everybody in roughly the same section of the game.
Yeah, that's right. And so, just like I said, it kind of evens out a bit just in a race, even though there was such a big delay. It did even out a little bit, but I do think I'm willing to bet KB still has a decent lead, but I'm really not sure. It's definitely hard to say with that timer being inaccurate.
Yeah, I mean, it does look to me like, and Edo told me he's playing on emulator tonight instead of hardware like he normally would. So he's given himself enough time to adjust. He did say, like, as you can see, right, like the strats felt comfortable. The route, felt like it was precise enough. Because we do know there is a difference, right, playing an emulator versus playing on hardware. So it'll be interesting to see if that affects the pacifist run later. But he seemed confident that there would be no adverse effects from the switch from hardware to emulator for the event.
Yeah, it's pretty funny because I know a lot of people would absolutely not be able to handle that at all. So it's kind of funny that Edo's managing to do that. I have a lot of respect for him. I'm kind of with him too. I don't feel a huge difference, but man, a lot of people would just be shocked to know that, because it is quite a big difference for some. I do know that Edo, from last I heard, he does play on a modern TV, so there could be some argument made that it's not too different from emulator, but it's hard to say. Every setup is different, so.
Yeah, Edo did tell me his TV is, when you put it in game mode, it does have like less than a 100th of a second of like timing delay. So it's one of the better setups you can have without the modification of something like a retro tank or, the frame boost technology that's out there.
That's right. I do remember that game mode. Now that you mention it, and KB's taking some.
There.
Oh yeah.
Off that bat, it's so unfortunate, but it can happen.
And now we're seeing low percent a little bit early here in 6-2 in the any percent race. KB going for Eggs Benny, and he got the good pattern, which is good. I'm really glad he didn't die, but it was definitely possible he could have gotten the bad pattern there, but managed to make it through. betaX getting a nice back. Oh, betaX got a nice backup on the bat boost, but then ended up dying just because he didn't have enough health. So here we are, KB, the only person not having taken a death is KB, so his lead is going to expand.
Yeah, and actually, I think if we count NRL, does that make KB like 8 for 8 on Eggs Benny in races, right, up till this point? I mean, I don't know if we have the exact statistics on that. I'll get the stats department working on that. That's somewhere in that department.
Yeah, no, he's been confident with it for sure. And almost dying. Man, he had 3 health. If he had gotten hit by the bird, he would have been done for, but he managed to dodge it. Oh, messing up the Black Squall health grab backup, and now he's getting beat up like crazy. There's so many enemies around him. Look at that.
He ends up taking the death after all, so no one ends up deathless in their any percent route.
Yeah, wow, that's kind of surprising, to be honest. Not even one deathless run in any percent for any of them. That's kind of crazy. betaX having to go for the clown nose kill with the slash cancel because of no spin slash. Everyone's gonna have to slash cancel the nose. That's quite crazy.
And I think we are still seeing Beta with a slight edge right now over KB. Edo coming in not far behind. This any percent run is about done. We're about to move on to the low percent run.
That's right, and so it'll be interesting to see what the times are for these runners here, because especially for KB, this run's a little bit slower than I think he would have hoped for, but he has so much opportunity to make up for it in low percent and pacifist, obviously.
Edo going for that center platform kill, and he gets the 2.5. Very nicely done, Edo.
Yeah, nice kill there, Edo. betaX went for the tail kill, playing it safe here. and I think he's going to be okay.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah, there
friendly
he goes.
pattern.
Nice. So he's going
Thank
to
God
end
he
up with
came
a
in.
high 12.5x, I think.
And KB with a world record time of 11:36. Look at that.
Look at that. So impressive.
A nice sync here for Beta and KB here, at least on the feed.
So if we assume that KB's timer is 50 seconds off, give or take, then that means he's actually not far ahead of betaX. So out of any percent, they're actually neck and neck, I think.
Yep, and Edo's coming in just behind them with a slightly outside of Ninja license time. I didn't exactly see what it was, but it looked like 12.3x, like something in that vicinity.
Okay, nice.
All right, both Knucklebuster and Beta making their way to the bartender. Knucklebuster missing the spin slash a little bit. Looked like he had to finish that off with the sword a bit at the end there. That's what we call a bad bzz.
So my apologies. KB would have gotten like a 12.25, so he actually would be, according to betaX timer, his time was a high 12.5x. So betaX is actually like 30 seconds behind KB out of any percent, something like that. So KB does actually have a sizable lead, which is good for him. And I just thought of this, I didn't realize it till just now, but how do you keep your route straight? I mean, that's just impressive to me. The one time I did try low percent for a bit, it was honestly a little difficult to really switch in between them. So I'm kind of impressed that they're going to be able to keep things straight all night. I mean, I assume they will, right? But we'll see.
It is not the easiest thing to do mentally, to switch from any percent to low percent and then from low percent to pacifist. These runners do have the experience to probably make it happen, although we did put in a local rule like we would in a low percent race or a pacifist race. Should they accidentally pick up a instant activated item or use a sub weapon on an enemy in low percent, they are allowed to take an intentional death and reset the screen and then continue. It is not an instant disqualification, and the same is true in pacifist. If they were to accidentally use the sword and kill an enemy, they are allowed, like in 100%, the rule is if you were to miss something, you are allowed to take a death and then reset the screen. So we have a race rule in place the runners know about. So should there be an error, like you mentioned, Moose, because it can be difficult mentally to switch from one category to another. So should there be a mental error, it's not the end of the road. It just means that the runners have to, take an intentional death, which of course will be a time setback, but the race moves forward. It does continue.
That's right, and they're gonna have to be honest with us because there's a pretty good chance we wouldn't notice. If I'm being honest, we do kind of miss some things here and there. I did notice that betaX did take an unfortunate death though. At the last guy on the screen where you get the flame wheel. I don't really know how to describe it, but there's a tricky little slice you have to do there, and if you happen to miss it, you just fall right into the pit. And unfortunately, that's what happened to him. So kind of a costly death, not gonna lie, and that gives KB and Edo a wider lead over him for sure.
And KB taking a knockback on that sword, which is going to set him back just a little bit. But yeah, Beta looks like he took a death on what we call the second of the 3 butt clench cliffs in 2-2 in low percents. You do find that in that area where in any percent you would pick up the fire shield, and it's the part where it's got Bob Barker, right, everybody's favorite runner. In low percent, since you can't pick up the fire wheel, you do have 2 pretty tight frame windows in which you can just use the sword, one for the gunner and then one for the sword at the end of the screen. It looks like Beta may have taken a death at the final, at the sword at the end of the screen, as you pointed out, Moose.
Yeah, I'm noticing a little bit of mistakes here from everyone. So even though KB does have a lead, there's some knockbacks here and there for sure. And I have to say, personally, this is my least favorite part of the low percent runners, having to do bash low percent. But I know that these 3 runners are going to make it look pretty easy.
Yeah, and they're using a variation of the kill. There is no Art of the Fire Wheel allowed, so you have to chase Bass and try to land 2 hits in the hitbox as Bassiker is traveling away from you, and then still get 1 ground slash in, and then repeat that cycle until you get the 16 hits on Massacre and finish the fight. It is a very, very technical and difficult kill, especially to do, in kind of an effective and fast way.
For
KB
sure.
taking a little problem there, but he ended up saving it off of people's favorite bat in 4-1.
That's right. I was just waiting for him to die, Raz. I saw him get knocked back, and I was like, here we go. He's going to get into the pit. But sure enough, he actually was able to grab the wall, which is good.
Yeah, Edo gets the boost, and Beta goes for the boost as well. So congratulations, Edo and Beta, for doing something that I probably would not have done in a race. I tend to skip that bat moose. Just I find that it's unkind in the race setting.
Yeah, I'm not a very cautious racer, I would say in general, but I absolutely skip the 4-1 bat boost. It's just not worth it. It's really not worth it. I never die to it in runs, to be honest. It's very, very, very rare, but I'm still not going to take a risk. I just don't want to die like that. It's so unfair if you do.
So much of racing in low percent, any percent, and then what was really very interesting to see is in the pacifist category is really trying to minimize those high risk strats. So, it'll be interesting to see how do they take the challenge of the pacifist route and then also maybe add in some wisdom of like, hey, like here's an opportunity where if I go for the fastest possible strat and it does not work out, then you're looking at maybe a 20-second time loss. Whereas if you hesitate, take a different boost or use a different strat, would it be a little bit more safe? Because a lot of what you'll see in the pacifist run is considered unsafe just right from the start. So the number of backups and the windows shrink considerably when the run gets that tight.
Oh, absolutely.
Nice top route there.
And here we're seeing another interesting part of the low percent run. Wow, KB getting the quick doggo kill. It did leave the platform, but still, that is a very nice kill for a race. Very impressive by him to pull that off. Let's see how Edo does. Getting a lot of hits in. Just needed one extra hit after the dog left the platform. Very good kill. betaX, how can he do? Can he keep up with that pace? Very nice kills. Wow. Very impressive. Very impressive.
Yeah, excellent job, runners. And a good showcase of how you can kill the dogs quickly without the spin slash. And one of the nuances that makes the low percent pacifist run, a little different than 90%, fighting the bosses instead of the instant kill. Ooh, KB having a little trouble getting up on the bird boost there. Looks like Edo's going to be able to maybe make up just a little bit of ground here.
So you have KB hitting the door here at about 20 flat, give or take, I think, if you add the 50 seconds onto his timer.
Yep, and then we got Beta coming in. Going for the bird. Gets the double. Oh, he almost got the bird. A little commentator's curse there.
So I'm afraid to use the timers, but I think I have it down. I think betaX is about 55 seconds behind KB. I think Edo is 20 seconds behind KB. If I can trust betaX and Edo's timers, which I believe I can. Yeah, so KB does have a little bit of a lead here, but we'll see if he can maintain it.
Yeah, so about 20 seconds over Edo, about 50 to 60 seconds, you'd say, over Beta, you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so other than that stream delay, right, we're kind of seeing a decent sync here. KB still ahead on the feed. Kind of moving into a tough section here, getting some bad RNG. Deciding to despawn. And going with some safer strats there. Same seen low percent, still can despawn. You can take the safe way. Never a bad idea in a race, rather than taking the death and doing the screen over again.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. The jetpack ninja screen is the absolute worst. I think in low percent when you know what you're doing, maybe it's not so bad. But if you try to brute force it, which I have before in a race, it is quite difficult.
It looked like Beta taking a death there. It may have been an intentional death. I couldn't tell.
Considering it was on the first screen at 5-3, I'm willing to bet it was intentional. He probably walked off the ledge. That makes the most sense.
I did see Edo got the SP boost. And KB's slashing mouth.
Oh, betaX taking a hit from the hammer. So it's funny because KB and Edo played it safe with that hammer and hammer bro despawned, and betaX did not despawn the hammer bro and ended up paying for it with his life.
Yeah, I did
Wow.
notice Edo and KB both chose to despawn that hammer in the low percent route here. So that's going to push Beta back just a bit. But again, it's still anybody's race because, low percent, Act 6, and then an entire pacifist run left in front of us here. A lot can still happen.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't even want to imagine just how crazy pacifists can get in a race. And when I mean crazy, I mean like just brutal in terms of deaths, just because it can go wrong so quickly, it seems. So it'd be interesting to see what happens there.
Yeah, and I think the most interesting thing about having the low percent sandwiched in between the pacifist run is it's going to give the runners a chance to, potentially gain ground on anybody that's leading, right? We see KB in the lead now, but we'll see if KB has a clean set of bosses here, because if he falters at all, that'll give Edo a chance to catch up, because I think Edo's got a pretty clean low percent run working.
And yeah, Edo has a chance to catch up with KB, I would say for sure, just because KB hasn't had the cleanest run at times. Going for a very fast exit boost there on 6-2.
Edo going for the Twist of Fate strat in the Hell's Hallway section.
Yeah, I don't know the different names for the Hell's Hallway strats besides Twist of Fate, but KB definitely went for a different strat in Hell's Hallway than that. So again, there's some of the variation we were talking about. We'll see what Beta X ends up doing in Hell's Hallway.
And you see Beta X using the Shuriken boost there that I believe was discovered by Pensa or Moose? Did Laner or FabGen discover that?
It might have been Lane. I'm not sure. I know Lane has done something with that boost before, but maybe not for low percent.
Newer strat.
I can't keep track. There's so many, between Bumbledin, Edo, and Black Squall, I lose track of who discovers things with Pacifist.
Beta X also going for the Twist of Fate, so we're going to see some pacifist strategies previewed here, overlapping into the low percent run. Taking an unfortunate knockback there. Cleaning it up okay. Going to get a climb. And Beta has joined Edo and Knucklebuster in 6-3.
KB getting a solid 2.5 cycle from the left because he opts to go off the wall, and that gives him the ability to do a 2.5 cycle, which is very nice for him. Very good time save.
All right, so let's see how this demon goes. Oh, very nice.
4-jump rich kill. Look at that. Very nice kill. So much time save.
Okay, so that reset was at 4:22. If we add that 50 seconds, that's a 25:02, right?
Yeah, that's right. So pretty much 25:0x, give or take.
Edo on the demon. Has to pause for some shrimp here. Looks like he's okay. Taking an unfortunate knock there.
Oh, this is dangerous. Oh,
No, Edo takes it down.
no! Sure enough, the fateful demon death.
Opening. Yeah, that's going to give Beta a chance to move in a second here.
Wow.
You never like to see anyone return to 6-1, but we thought it might happen. Condolences, Edo, but you never know. Anything can happen. Edo has a lot of experience in these scenarios. There was a very, very epic round of a knockout tournament many years ago where both Edo and the Retro Runner, who raided the channel earlier, both died to the demon. Not once Moose, but twice. So you just never know what can happen.
Yeah, man, that's so unfortunate. I mean, Edo could catch up, but if someone else got the demon, I feel like that might be the only thing would be them dying to the demon and pacifist, because it would take them more. It would take them more to catch up. It would take them more to do Act 6 again in pacifist than in low percent. So this is rough for Edo for sure.
All right, still making his way through Hell's Hallway as Beta finishes up his low percent run. And we see KB in his pacifist run has already made it to 2-2. So KB making very quick work of those first couple of stages. And as you can see, if you take a look at KB's run, there's going to be a lot of boosting. As he gets the spray overload there, he has to wait for a single bullet. But no sword allowed, and the same as in low percent, there'll be no sub-weapons. As you can see, he takes a boost from the runner there. Oh, but taking a death there at the end of the screen.
Yep, there it is. It's just difficult, man, to do that, to do all this in a race. I mean, there's got to be so many ways to die in Pacifist. Like, infinite number of ways to die. I can't even imagine. That's what he would say. That's what he meant to do. Take that bullet boost to safely get through that last enemy who stands in your way. Very daunting enemy.
And Beta making pretty quick work of his pacifist route in the first act as he makes his way into the beginning of Act 2. Yeah, Beta also chooses an interesting route. He doesn't manipulate the bat there. He leaves the bat low and just jumps over. Yeah, but you'll see that Beta will also might throw some swaggier strats into the route here.
Yeah, he did call that out, so I'm really going to have to watch and see what he does.
A little hung up with there. Gets the decent toe touch, and you can see he's manipulating the Tysons. If you hesitate just a moment while you're in the air, Tyson will punch the space vacated by Ryu. It's a tricky technique, but once mastered, you can get past the Tysons with relative consistency. As Edo's making his way back to the demon, nice in and out jumps there, and Edo finishes up his low percent run.
And Raz, what you had mentioned before came into play there. At the very last screen of 6-2, he was playing it really, really safe because he didn't want to get hit. He wanted to have enough health for the demon. And so what you predicted did come to pass there, so he could have enough health for the demon. Despite having quite a bit of health, was actually somewhat close to dying there. I know if he had died again to the demon, that would have been too much to take. I think, me personally, I would have been so devastated that I probably would have given up there. But able to get to the demon there cleanly, and now has a chance to catch up in Pacifist.
Well, and even though Edo is behind because of that death of the demon, as you can see, he's making very, very quick work of this first screen in the Pacifist route. So I wouldn't count him out. His knowledge of the Pacifist category is very, very complete. And he, up until just recently, did have the world's first sub-14 minute time. Comparatively to betaXcomplainer's PB and then Knucklebuster's PB, which comes in just under that, right, because of the recent PB that Knucklebuster was able to accomplish. We do know Edo can make up quite a bit of ground if KB does tend to, might falter here a bit. So we'll have to see what happens.
And KB just walked into Massacre with 3 health and managed to do the whole thing without getting hit. I think that is just so impressive. I think he had to play a bit slower than normal, but he would manage to jump over the bullets every single time and was able to get through with very low health. Super impressive stuff there.
Right, and Beta is making his way through a difficult section of the Pacifist route, dealing with a little bit of an active hammer. Taking a little bit of some knockbacks, but making his way past these sword enemies is very difficult in the pacifist route because we're used to in any percent, right? Just slashing them down or using the flame, but that can present a pretty significant wall in the pacifist category. Once we get into Act 3 here, you start to see the runners use a pretty conservative health route. Because as you pointed out, right, if you take too few HP into Bass, you have to do a damageless fight, and if there's even one single mistake, it will be a trip back to the beginning of this screen.
Yeah, so we'll see how betaX and Edo handled it. I think KB probably preferred to have more health than he ended up getting, but he managed to make it work. So we'll see if Beta can do something similar. Right now, he's doing decent on health, but I mean, look at all these enemies. He's down to 2 notches of health. That is really bad. We'll see what he can do here. He's gotta make it there first, though.
Gonna try to play it safe here on the cliff.
Oh boy, let's see. I don't know about this, Raz. Is he gonna be able to do it? If he gets active pattern, I'm sure that makes it harder. And he doesn't. He gets passive. He gets double passive pattern, but it doesn't matter because he got the 3rd bullet right in his face, and he has to go through Act 3-2 again.
All right, that could give Edo a chance to catch up a bit here.
for sure. But KB's lead has just become even more wide. He's showing off. He's showing off his skills. Everyone knows how good KB is, and he's proving that here tonight. He's just really showing up right now. Not the fastest any percent time in the world, but that wasn't really important. Honestly, what was really important is just taking as few deaths as possible in low percent and pacifist, and right now he's doing a good job.
And you can see he's using some conservative strats where he's preserving some health, but then also making sure that he's not putting himself at risk to fall into a pit. There are riskier strats he could be going for, but he's playing it pretty conservative as far as the pacifist route goes based on his execution in Act 4 there. And doing a decent job with the doggo in this final run, the pacifist run. KB finishes the dogs and makes his way into Act 5.
So this time betaX having more health for Bassiker, which is good. Edo looks like he's in good shape so far, but a lot can go wrong in the remainder of the screen, so we'll see.
Yeah, how much health does Edo have now left for this screen? It appears to be in a similar situation to Beta. Using some good health saver strats here. Unfortunate damage from the bird there as he ducks the other bird, takes some damage. Does he have enough health to ride the bullet? Nope, he's going with the same conservative strat.
There he goes, taking his time. Yeah, I think Edo's going to be fine here. I think he really knows what he's doing with this damageless Bassiker here.
Yeah, dodging the bullets well, finishing it off. Very well done.
There we go. And you brought up a great point. Like he's not going for the craziest strats, and I think in a race where you're doing 3 different categories, I think playing safe is even more important than it would be when you're only racing in one category. The reality is, like, it's not about saving small amounts of time when the race is this long. I mean, the longer the race, the more important it is just to play it safe. And so I think KB is playing it really smart here. He did go for Eggs Vinny, but we won't talk about that.
He took an intentional death there because you can see he's planning on taking some damage in this screen, manipulating the bird, and actually getting a version of the up and over, which you don't see very often in the pacifist category or low percent. Most people, you'll use a damage boost and then go under that particular obstacle.
I think right now, unless KB dies in the demon or something like that, it's a race between Edo and betaX for second place. KB getting knocked around, but managing to get through it all right. It looks like despawning the hammer, bro. Smart move there.
Yeah, KB with a sizable lead over Edo. But again, anything can happen as we make our way through these screens. Using Edo's boost there to set up what we call the SP free. You can use the bat to get up to the top tier of that screen, and it actually makes the SP boost a lot more accessible than trying to do the quick climb and then flip-flop and then kind of catch the boost right from the low percent or any percent route.
betaX having a pretty slow dogfight there. We'll see what Edo's able to do if he can catch up or save some time on betaX, I should say.
Yeah, and I will say that from doing a trial run of this myself, that there's a mental challenge to this run. Because again, if you're used to a 12-minute run or like a 13-minute run, say a 12 or 13-minute any percent or low percent grind, even a pacifist grind, which may bring you into the 20-minute, 17 or 15-minute category, right, territory. Stacking these runs together and knowing you still have about 30 plus more minutes to race, it's pretty difficult. This is much more like a marathon run than it is, say, like a single segment run. So you got to give these runners credit for being able to stick this out mentally, and also having pacifist be the final run. It is by far, Moose, the most frustrating of these categories, right? So when you die in pacifist, the nature of the way you might have to take a game over or, use an intentional death, it can be very, very deflating. So, the mental grind, as you can see, Knucklebuster taking an intentional game over there to set up the final section of this very difficult run. He's going to go for a knife boost here. Let's see if he gets it. And he's able to pull it off. And that was actually a strat that was discovered by Edo. So as you see with any Ninja Gaiden route, there's been a great sharing of these strats, amongst all the people in the community. KB showing off a very swaggy version of the pacifist screen there.
Yeah, and you use a good word to describe it, marathon. I wish I had thought of that beforehand, because it is more like a marathon, like some streamers do, rather than a normal race. And so it's interesting to think about it that way. And yeah, pacifist being the most frustrating is gotta be. I know that this screen that KB's on, I don't know much about pacifist. I know some, but I know that screen is awful, and he just died there because he wasn't quite able to make it through. So we'll see how many attempts it takes him to get this screen right. This screen, because I know it can be quite frustrating.
It gets through.
There he goes. Second try. Good job.
And that hammer bro is probably the toughest point of the pacifist run. And those who have done a PB grind of the pacifist category, everything can be going very, very well until you get to that screen with that particular hammer bro. And then you might lose the run on RNG alone. So, it can be similar to this marathon mentality that it would take to get through a race like this is kind of what it takes to complete those pacifist grinds. So definitely a frustrating category.
KB taking another game over in Act 6. He already took a game over in 6-2, having to take another one there at the end of this screen in 6-3. But that's just the way it goes. I mean, in Pacifist, you just take deaths even in normal runs. Obviously, in a race, it's going to be even more of that.
Yeah, that's a good example, again, of a little bit more conservative strategy than a PB attempt. Typically in a high-level pacifist PB attempt, you'd only see the one game over, but KB preserving all of his lives now and trying to make it through this final and difficult section of the game. We're hesitating a bit so he can avoid the boomerang guy, or as we call him, the Silver Surfer. See, and then you got to wait for the hammer there as he makes his way into the screen.
That jump you have to get just to the left of the right edge of that right side of that pillar to make that jump. So tight, it looks like. Pretty cool to watch.
Utilizing the B-fob boost in a pacifist manner, and then taking a damage boost after grabbing the wall. Kind of a combination of strats that were applied from low percent, any percent, and a good showcase of how you can use the iframes to make this as quick as possible. KB actually looking at a sub 40 time here, even if we add the 50 seconds from that first screen.
Yeah, let's see if he's able to get it. I don't think he quite will. It's going to be barely above 40 once we add that 50 seconds in there. But it's going to be a very good time, I think, for a race. As long as he doesn't die, let's see. Almost another rich kill. Still able to get a really decent demon there, I'd say, especially for a race.
Yeah,
congrats to KB winning the Triple Crown. The world record holder in low percent, the world record holder in pacifist. Maybe it was meant to be. KB takes the Triple Crown belt. Congrats to him. KB, the GOAT.
Yeah, congratulations, Knucklebuster. An amazing run. I think we did see a deathless any percent. Was it a deathless low percent, or it took one death in the any percent run? And then it may have been a deathless low percent and a very, very skilled and well-managed pacifist route. So GG's KB, and we'll see see what happens here with the final two competitors here. Yeah,
so now we're dealing with two racers that have timers that are a bit more easy to read because we know that they're accurate. So we can see that betaX is almost finishing 6-2. Probably going to get like a low 42 here, I'm guessing, or I guess a high 41.
Yeah, and I want to call out for a second here. The beta got a really cool despawn of that problematic hammer bro that I was talking about earlier in 6-2. A strat that I believe he came up with, so kind of kudos to beta for pulling it off in the race setting.
Yeah, very nice. I definitely didn't know you could despawn him. That sounds very convenient, so that's cool if he's able to show that off. It looks like betaX is going to have a decent lead here just because his timer is a bit ahead of Edo's, obviously, but he is quite a bit ahead at this point, being in 6-3 while Edo's still in the middle of 6-2. What's the backup here? Oh, trying to take the hammer to get up to the platform, but the hammer bro did not cooperate. He said, no, I am not going to throw when you want me to. Try again, buddy.
That hammer did not have Beta's name on it. But we're going to look for a hammer that does have Beta's name on it here. Ooh, Beta showing off a very difficult bird boost there. Nice strat. Despawning the bird as he makes his way into the final sections, which again can be somewhat RNG dependent.
Oh, for sure. And he was trying to do that bird boost the first time, I think, and ended up having to take the hammer bro, but the hammer bro not working out. So we'll see what he does here for last screen. I didn't get to mention it, but the way KB did this last screen was so honestly just impressive. It looked like a lot of fun, if I'm being honest, to pull it off.
Beta's going to use a despawn boost strat here.
Yeah.
As Edo makes his way through the first screen into the second screen of 6-3. Showing off a little bit of a different route here. And Beta takes care of the clown nose, making his way into Jackie-O.
Yeah, this is Beta X's second place right here. He's got to close it out, and second place is his.
Set up well for a pretty good cycle here. A little bit of a chase.
A little bit of a mistake there. Yeah, he's good.
Who gets the kill, though?
Do we know what KB's final time was in race time, Raz?
It looks like he finished the race room split a little bit late. So our best bet is to, figure about 50 or 51 seconds added to the split time you see on screen. And Beta's going to try to cut the tail here. All right.
Yeah, he's got it in the bag. There we go. Sub 45 for Beta X, it looks like. I have a feeling he's going to be happy with that time. And there it is, roughly a 44-21, give or take a second or two.
Yeah, and for
Very
Beta,
nice race.
not too far from his PB in this Triple Crown. It was Beta that came up with this Triple Crown format. So, without Beta's, creativity, we wouldn't have had this showcase of the Ninja Gaiden runs here today, as we see Edo taking care of Jackie-O, finishing it up. All that's left is the demon.
He might be able to get a 44 here if he has a decent demon, so let's see him pull it off. 2 jump head. Oh, getting an unfortunate shrimp there, preventing him from getting to the tail. Ooh, take another hit there. Oh. Yeah, he's got it. There it is. Not quite a 44, but a very respectable time. 45 OX, something like that. Very good. Congrats to Edo, congrats to Beta X and KB. So in the end, we have KB getting first in the Triple Crown, Beta X getting second, and Edo getting third. Let's get some hype in there for our racers.
Yeah,
hype in the chat.
And Edo showing off kind of a nice way in which to kill the demon, kind of surviving some shrimp there at the end, which is not easy, considering the death that he had taken. And without that death, right, to the demon that Edo had taken, I think that their times would have been much, much closer, right? Very, very similar times, right? Kind of across the board, with KB kind of pulling off that big lead right at the beginning, right? That he's able to sustain. So well done, runners. Nice job, Knucklebuster. Good job, Edo. Well done, Beta.
Yeah, good job to everyone. And there's a chance we might be able to get Beta X and Edo in the booth. I know Beta for sure will probably want to get in the booth just to say some words. Edo, if he's in the mood, he can come into the booth if he wants, but he may not too. I know he's sick right now, so I appreciate Edo for showing up, even though he is sick. A little bit tough for him, I think, but really glad that he showed up. Really proud of him for giving it his all. And we'll have Beta X in here in a second to say some words. I know that it's kind of fun to talk to the runners after the race just to see how they felt about it and talk about it a bit. Because the truth is, there's always things that we miss as commentators, especially with there being three races on the screen. So I think Beta X might have some words for us, which would be cool.
Yep, we're just inviting them into the commentary now.
Hey, Beta X, how's it going? Congrats on second place. Yeah, I imagine. How do you feel about your final time?
What's up,
Yeah, for
guys?
sure. That was a big turnaround. Edo, welcome to the booth. Hey, man, congrats on the race. I know it was kind
Thanks,
of tough for
man.
you. I know you're not feeling the best, but again, I want to thank you for just actually showing up and racing for us. I really appreciate the entertainment. You did a good job.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, guys. Man, like seriously, this is my first Triple Crown run ever, and I had to juggle with so many strats. Like that's why when I was doing any percent in 6-2, I didn't spin the button. I'm like, what am I thinking? What's going on? It's just too many things to, the bag of tricks is so big that it's like, what am I doing now? Like you have to focus on just one run, but it's tough, like something that I never done before. But that was fun,
Yeah, we do know that mentally it's a very hard race.
Yeah, when I was doing passives, I keep reminding myself like, don't kill anything, and I'm like thinking back of the stage, did I kill anything? Did I? So it's kind of hard to just keep track of what you're doing when you're like changing every 12 to 13 minutes to a different category. It can get tough. Yeah, and unfortunately, I took that death to the demon. I mashed log one jump, and yeah, and then I'm like, oh, I took that hit. Then I took a shrimp, and I'm like, oh, this is not looking good. But I was going for the biscuit. I had to risk it. But yeah, well, in the end of the day, this is for the fun of it, and I'm just glad that I actually finished the run. And
Yeah, me
GG's
too. I definitely
beta.
wanted you guys to finish.
Yeah, GG's to beta and KB, man. Wow, good times, guys. Yeah, like I was talking to Mr. Aves, and a sub 40, that's a bit nuts just to get in these kind of situations, no resets. So GG's to KB. That was awesome.
Yeah, KB's final timer was a bit inaccurate, so he just missed the
Oh,
sub 40. It was like a
oh, really?
40x probably. Or no, a
Oh,
42x, something like
oh,
that. So yeah,
still super good.
yeah. So he was a bit off the sub 40, but still a very good time. Not only was the timer on the screen off, I think his time and race time was off too. He might have forgotten to end it. But yeah, obviously it was a pretty Yeah, it was a pretty fast time. He basically started his timer at the end of Act One in any percent, so his timer is literally is like roughly 50 seconds off. But yeah, obviously a very good run. Congrats to him. Congrats to you guys. Thank you guys for putting this on. Big thanks to betaX for organizing this and to having it on the stream and letting me and Raz commentate. It actually is an honor to be able to be the voice of these events a couple times. So I'm really proud of that. Thank you.
Beta, if I might ask, Beta, what was the thing that you thought went the best in that run?
Wow, nice. Good to know that you went for that strat.
We're not getting you on
Like,
stream, Beta.
like the room for messing that strat is so big. It's getting it on a run is already crazy. So man,
Sorry about that, everybody.
good on you, man.
My audio was muted. But yeah,
Oh.
the thing that I was pretty excited to get a few strats in there. The first was definitely the swaggy cat boost in 4-1 low percent. That was scary, and I went for it anyway, and we got it. So I was really happy about
That's a
that.
crazy strat, man.
Then
Crazy strat.
a couple of pacifist things. The KB underbat in 5-2 or 5-3. Had to go at a few. It took a few tries. I had to kind of back off a few times and go for it again, but we got there. And then just happy to get that 6-2B pacifist strat in there that Joker and I worked on together. That's always really cool.
Yeah, we were able to call it out a bit. Chat noticed that you got the despawn of that problematic hammer, that can make the run. It really can, if you think about it, make or break the run, especially when you're on that PB grind. So These discoveries that people have made in the pacifist category are always amazing to see. So we really appreciate Edo and KB and Beta putting on a nice showcase of that pacifist category. And Beta, this was your idea. The Triple Crown race was, something that you had kind of started doing on your stream. So we were super glad that we were able to, kind of put together an event that showcased, all three categories, to build on the good work that you have already put into the category. So for those that don't know, betaXcomplainer has one of the top times in the pacifist category and is responsible for a number of the strats that have made it into the world record route. So we're excited to see where this category continues to grow. So if anybody wants to know more about that category, there's a great community, plenty of resources out there to learn the category. Just be prepared for a lot of resets and. I would say, Beta, what do you think? Minimal frustration?
Yeah, yeah, minimal frustration at first. At first, it's just like, oh, let's just try and get something under an hour. Like if we can get something under an hour, that's pretty good. And then you cut that in half and cut that in, uh, try and go sub 20, and then it starts to get pretty serious.
And there was a Basker fight in there that was a very low HP strat. What did you think about that, Edo? If we are back?
Yes. Are we back?
We're back.
Yes. It's
Yeah, I
just
think we're
scary
back.
to do that fight. It's just scary to do that fight when you're low in health, especially when you cannot predict where the bullets are gonna come. And so unfortunately, in low percent and pacifist, I got the bullets from the left to start the fight, and then you're waiting for the next bullets to be on the right. But when you get again the bullets from the left, you have to be ready for it, because usually in pacifist you don't get there with too much health spare. Usually you can take one hit and the next one will be dead. So that fight is always tricky to do.
Yeah, and you can tell, like, when you get to that point in that pacifist run, the first 2 or 3 acts could have gone really well up until that point. But, if you can't pull off, even if you get one mistake in that Basker fight, that's quite a bit of a time loss. And in a PB attempt, you could just go ahead and reset. But in the race scenario, you have to fight through the mental frustration, work your way all the way back through, and then you may still find yourself in the exact same situation with only one or no possible hits from the boss fight. So well done, runners, and a great showcase of 3 difficult categories. My personal opinion is that pacifist is the most difficult, but it was great to see. And unfortunately, we had a little technical difficulty there and a little power issue, but we're glad we were able to get back and kind of finish up the interviews here. So well done, Edo, and well done, Beta, and GG's to KB on taking the Triple Crown. Thank you, Moose, for joining me in the booth here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Like I said, it's such an honor to be a part of these events. Thanks, BetaX, for having me. And as always, Raz, it was great having you alongside me in the booth.
All right, so I think that concludes our Ninja Fight Night for this evening. And thanks for hanging out, everybody. And we're going to find a nice raid target. We'll always make sure we send you off to a good place. And for the next Ninja Fight Night, I think we're going to have the Learner's Permit race coming up. So more to come, details to follow. So if you're interested in some more Ninja Gaiden racing, then stay tuned because we got more exciting ninja action coming very soon.
Well, that's going to do it for Ninja Fight Night number 3. I want to thank Pensive Moose and Razul for commentary. Special thanks to Razul for putting together a lot of the video for tonight. I want to thank KB and Edo for showing up and putting on such a good show. And all of you for hanging out and watching. So from all of us at Ninja Sports Network, thanks for watching and keep on mashing.